He's not my best friend, but he's not an enemy. I love my country. We are not terrorists.
Donald Trump, not very long ago, said, Mr. Zelensky, you don't have the cards. What changed?
What changed?
President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, thank you for joining us on the new Axios show today. Let's do it Axios style, smart, fast, to the point. I'm not gonna bullshit you, and I think you're not gonna bullshit me.
Like you want.
Okay.
You said smart and?
Smart, fast, and to the point.
Okay, so smart from your side, and from my fast, I will try. Do my best.
Thank you. Mr. President, you know, I remember how on February 25th, 2022, we ran a story on Axios that said how you had a video call with the leaders of the EU. And you told them at that call, this might be the last time you'd see me alive. Did you think that at that time, that 3.5 years later, you'll be sitting here in New York having this conversation?
Of course not. 100% not. Yes, I addressed to EU leaders, and you know that I had conversations with American president. They were one of the first, maybe the first one was I addressed to Europeans, a lot of leaders. I had conversations each 5-10 minutes with different leaders from different continents. And of course, the EU support, Europe support in wider sense, I mean, UK plus. So it was very important for Ukraine because I understood that we need very much have short distance and have support from Europeans. And I addressed them without any, papers, without any speeches, without nothing. I just shared with them all my emotions and all my thoughts. And I understood that it will be difficult for us. And of course, I didn't know that I will be alive in 3.5 years. And of course, we thought just how to join the country now. I thought only about one thing: how to join my country now, and how to give signal that somebody from Europe will help us.
Yes,
somebody will help us from the world. So that was very important.
Yeah. So 3.5 years later, you met yesterday with President Trump. Take us into the room. How did it go?
How it was yesterday?
Yes.
Oh, between us, much more better than I could estimate. I think that first, I'm really happy that President was detailedly prepared about the situation on the battlefield. And he understands that Putin doesn't win. For today, he has a lot of losses, thousands of losses. And that was good that President understood that it's important just to trust us. For me, it's very important. Putin lied him. And that was my feeling yesterday, that he understood.
That he understands.
Yes, that he understands that Putin is playing games with him. And really, to my mind, President Trump gave him more than he deserves, because Putin was happy. It was his dream to meet with Trump, especially during this isolation moment from the very beginning of full-scale war. Yes. And that's why the meeting in Alaska, and he, of course, President Trump did it, I think, because he wanted to have this window, not closed diplomatic window, for the next future negotiations on the level of leaders. And I think that President thought that Putin will accept it. But Putin didn't give him this.
Yeah. And I heard that yesterday during the meeting, I heard from one of my sources that President Trump told you, you should hit Russia harder. You should hit their energy sector. You should hit their cities. Is this accurate? Did he tell you this?
I'm not sure that I can tell everything to you, but
that's a yes.
No, I mean that he understands that just answer answer. If they attack our energy, President Trump support that we can answer on energy. And it's not about the weapon of the United States, of the partners. We didn't speak about what we have to use or not. We have our drones, really, long distance and etc. But it's about the rules of this war. We want peace. President Trump proposed peace, ceasefire, everything. We supported, and Putin didn't.
Because I also heard that in one of your phone calls a few weeks ago, he even told you you should bomb Putin's house. Is this true?
No, this is not true.
But
this is not true, really. No, you understand that they attack our objects, infrastructure. And we answered on military objects of Russia. For example, they produce Iranian shaheeds. We know these factories. It's a really difficult goal for us. It's difficult to target this because they have a lot of air defense around such factories and etc. And also they use something from China. It's a bit, but we have to accept it. This is important. And of course, the storages where there are artillery or missiles from North Koreans or shaheeds from Iran, of course, we're targeting these places. And President Trump, he accepted that we can answer. But we are not, I mean, this, I didn't ask him about it. And he didn't wait that I will ask. It's just about the rules. And for me, it's very important that if Putin doesn't want to stop the war, he has to get answer from us.
So you don't feel that today the US is not giving you a green light to use US weapons for long-range strikes inside Russia?
Be very honest, I think that if we will have such long-distance weapon from the United States, we will use it.
So we will
use it.
Against Moscow?
Look, it's not about it, but we are not terrorists. Even our people, for today, they hate Russians because they began the war and they killed us. But all our people understand that we don't need to attack civilians. But if we know what does it mean, the rules of this war. So we will attack their military, but if they will do blackout for us, and if we will have long-distance weapon, more strong weapon from the United States, we will attack their energy.
And they attacked the Prime Minister's office.
Yeah, they attacked.
So if, what would you tell somebody who works at the Kremlin today? Would you tell him to make sure he knows where the nearest bomb shelter is?
First of all, they have to know where their bomb shelters are. They need it. If they will not stop the war, they will need it in any case. And they have to know that we in Ukraine, each day we will answer. If they will attack us, we will answer them.
You know, if there's one thing I thought before this interview, is that I really wanted to see the look on your face yesterday when you read President Trump's post on Truth Social.
The face was happy.
Were you surprised?
Yeah, I was very surprised. Yeah, first of all, I didn't read. Just my team told me. I had meeting, and my team told me, look, something is happening. The new page, yes, in our reality, and all my team told me that I think that President understood you totally. We spoke about all the issues, and he underlined in some words those things what we discussed. And then after that, after brief from my team, and in one pause, I read what President wrote.
Yeah,
I was positively surprised, of course.
Because, you know, I think you and I are old enough to remember that the same Donald Trump, not very long ago, said that, oh, you know, Mr. Zelensky, you don't have the cards.
Yeah.
So what changed?
What changed? First of all, I think the situation with Putin, his relationship with Putin, and I think that President Trump understood that Putin will not bring him success. Even if we will look at this moment like the society, American society, I think, which is very important for President of the United States, the support of society. And for any kind of leader, it's very important. And I think that society, really, American society doesn't respect and doesn't trust Putin. And mostly they doesn't trust that he wants to finish this war.
Yeah, but
and they're afraid. A lot of people afraid that he is sick person. I mean, Putin, he's a sick person, and he will not finish with Ukraine. He will go further.
Yeah.
Where further? To what country? To what families? And what he will do? The same. You see how he's targeting that now? Poland. You see that Romania today again. Airports in Denmark,
Yeah.
Oslo, they closed.
Yeah,
So-
I have a question to you about that. But before that, I want to
Okay, please.
ask another thing about President Trump's post, because another thing that I thought that, and I don't know if you agree, maybe it's just Trump being Trump when he writes
Maybe.
that kind of post. Maybe there's no real change in the policy here. Maybe he's just, writing this, and tomorrow he'll write something different.
God bless no. I don't know. It depends on his decision. He's a president, and it's his own decision. But I think that he wants to finish this war, and he said about it many times that he wants to finish this war. And now he sees that Russian leader doesn't want to finish.
But he already said
Less pressure.
He already said
We
that
need
he's
more.
mad. He already said, "I'm mad about Putin. I'm disappointed about Putin." Then he went and hugged him in Alaska. So, do you understand where he really is?
Who?
President Trump.
President Trump.
Because on the one hand, again, he says, "I'm mad at Putin, but I'm hugging with him in Alaska with airplanes, with soldiers, with everything."
Yeah.
It doesn't add up.
We saw everything. Between us, I think that Putin wanted really images with President Trump, just images, and that's all. And he didn't want trilateral meeting in Alaska. Putin didn't want, because for him it's unsuccessful just to meet with me, because he needs outcome even for his society. Outcome, so logically, outcome from any meeting, because his society, even there, I mean, in this disinformation and etc., even radical part of Russia, but they can't understand how can be meeting on the level of leaders, trilateral meeting, Ukraine, Russia, and America, and there is no any kind of outcome. It means that somebody doesn't want to finish the war, and he sold so long time to his audience that he wants to finish the war, but he does. But the Ukraine doesn't want. Of course, he's a liar. He's a big liar, greatest liar in the world. So that's what President Trump gave him possibility to postpone our meeting. Postpone our meeting. What does it mean? It means that he's just showing that he wants some dialogue for what? Not to be under strong sanctions of President Trump.
Yeah. So now you believe that President Trump actually finally wants Ukraine to win?
I hope so. I hope so.
What was your sense from your meeting? That he wants you to win?
Yes.
So obviously his post was very meaningful for Ukraine. But I wanted to ask you, what is the one big thing, tangible thing, real thing, not a post onto social, the one thing that you need President Trump to give you in order for you to win on the battlefield?
I think President Trump knows. I said to him yesterday, what we need, one thing. I said already to him.
Which was?
I will not tell you which was it, but I will tell you that he said, we will work on it.
Was it a weapon system
Yes.
that you feel you need?
We need it. It doesn't, by the way, we need it, but it doesn't mean that we will use it. Because if we will have it, I think it's additional pressure on Putin to sit and speak. There is only one thing what President Trump really can give us using any kind of systems, but he can stop Putin. He can pressure him to sit and stop the war, go to diplomacy. That thing what President Trump can do.
Yeah.
And between us, I said it, and China also can do it, but I don't feel that they want Putin to stop. For them, I think for them it's good what's going on. I don't see from China, I can't feel their attitude to this war. I don't see positive attitude. I don't see positive attitude to make a peace.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
So, but Trump also wrote that it's NATO and the EU that should help you win the war.
Yeah,
so
but the United States
concerned?
is you know how people say, what does it mean NATO? It's United States and partners. So 50% plus of NATO, this is United States. So when President of the United States said that it's about EU and NATO, it's mean about Europe, about the United States.
But, with everything Trump wrote yesterday, which was, again, a very big shift, Ukraine is at the moment definitely not losing the war, but it's also at the moment not winning.
Yeah, it's true. Yes, it's true. We don't have enough weapon. We don't have a lot of things. We are not comparable with the number of weapon, drones, artillery, and missiles. The biggest problem that we don't have enough air defense. Just about air defense, you to know, it's a big mistake. By the way, of Ukraine also, big mistake. In very beginning of our independence, we had from Soviet Union, we had not only nuclear weapon. Yes, it was a mistake to give it, but I'm not about nuclear now. But we also had 250 systems. Yes, Soviet period, but 250 systems of air defense. When I became the president, it was S-300. 250. When I became the president, we had 23. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Where is 200? And 23, and we had less number of missiles for these systems. So where are missiles? Everything was sold. This is the problem. This is a big problem. So, please.
But when it comes to getting the territory back, every expert I spoke to, including people in Ukraine, think that it is close to impossible to get all the territory back militarily.
Because you will have human losses. If you will use only such weapon, what you have, you will have human losses. That's why it's a mistake, to lose so many people. Because the land without people, what does it mean? No, it's not about territories. It's about Ukraine independence, our sovereignty, and of course, first of all, about our humanity, about our people. That's why we will not lose for the kilometers. We will not lose our population. Of course, this is not a smart idea between us. That's why technologies. And of course, if the United States will share technologies with us, some very specific systems which we need, I think we will bring Putin quicker to the negotiation table.
And you think that this would help you with the fact that at the end of the day, Putin has more soldiers and he can send more and more soldiers to the battlefield to get killed, and he doesn't care.
At the very he cares. Just what he cares. About what? I will explain. At the very beginning of his full-scale invasion, 3.5 years ago, what he did, they had some format of mobilization. But when they understood that his popularity began to decrease because of official mobilization, they stopped it and they began to pay. This is an important moment.
But Putin doesn't have primaries. He doesn't, it's not a democracy.
Yes, but that means that he afraid his society. In any case, he afraid. Because it's not about democracy, it's not about elections period. No, it's just they will go to him to Kremlin and withdraw him. They can. And that's why, because they don't want mobilization. They're afraid to be dead. And this war on the, it's not even on the territory of their country, on the territory of Ukraine. You know, we have a lot of records. Records це записи, так? Yeah, we have records of their phone calls. Yes, on the front line, they don't use WhatsApp or something, open line. So, and they are crying. They speak with their relatives. They are crying with their wives and with their fathers, young guys.
Yes.
Yeah, they are crying. They're afraid, but they can't do anything, because if they don't go further on the front, if they don't go, they kill them. Yeah. They kill their people. What I wanted to say. So he had this question. This is a sensitive question. He chosen to pay money. He has cash. What America can do, push to the sanctions all the world, first of all, themselves, strong sanctions, to make economy less and not to give such possibilities for Putin to pay so much money. That means that he can't pay all his life.
Yes. I want to go back to the question we started with, the fact that we're 3.5 years into this war. And it is really something I wanted to ask you, even before Trump, said what he said, that, where is this going? How does it end? Because the question is, can you withstand another year, another 2 years, another 3 years?
We don't want it. And we didn't want to stay 2 days, because we didn't want any kind and any format of the war. Any clever person in the world can't want the war, because it's just losses, human losses. But if it's the question of our surviving, what we have to do, we do what we have, man and woman. It's the question of our families. So if Putin, and we are sure, if Putin was just to destroy us, occupy us, and to kill everything what links with Ukraine, everything and everybody, what do we have to do? We have to stay. Just because we stay, it will not just fight. It's fight for surviving. That's about it. It's not about 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. I hope, with all respect to all the leaders, but with the power of the United States, first of all, with at least smart steps from global south, at least they will think about it and will begin to do something, because they do nothing for today. Just, statements and ideas and new formulas, how to finish the war, and each month new formulas, new steps and new countries, but no real pressure. So I hope that everybody will pressure on Putin, stop the war, and then diplomatically decide how it will be, how we will live. Yes.
You mentioned the Russian air violations into NATO countries, the drones in Poland, what happened in airports in Denmark, in Norway.
In Romania also.
Do you think the response so far has been weak?
Very. We decided at the very beginning we will be very honest. Yeah, so I think yes. Weak reaction. So that's why he continued with other countries.
So you agree with President Trump that NATO members should just shoot down the drones, shoot down the Russian jets?
They had to shoot down everything. If somebody is on your land killing your people, you have to answer this person. If the jets are in your space, you have to block it.
So you think they're afraid? You think that NATO members are just afraid to do it because they're afraid from the Russian response?
I think mostly, they, of course, there are some, I know some leaders, they are not afraid, but mostly countries afraid. They're afraid is because I think that they are right that Russia is crazy.
Yeah.
For today, they are crazy. That's why they're afraid. I think so.
In your meeting yesterday with President Trump, did you discuss with him the issue of security guarantees,
Yes.
U.S. security guarantees?
Yes, I said we need bilateral security guarantees. Of course, the part like backstop for our coalition buildings, this is a great idea, but this is like, like to strengthen and to give more support for Europeans, especially for them who some of them who are balancing and thinking to give troops or not to give boots on the ground or just intelligence, etc. So backstop of the United States will give them
confidence.
Confidence, yeah. But we, in any case, I said to President, we need bilateral security guarantees. Ukraine, United States, bilateral security guarantees, legally binding. So this is important.
And you feel that a security guarantee from Donald Trump is something you can trust?
Yes, because he is the president of the United States, and security guarantees from the United States between us work in the world. And I hope that I hope that such proposition can be strong, and Congress of the United States also has to support it. We had Budapest Memorandum. I don't want to speak about other documents, what we had with different guarantees. Yes, we gave nuclear weapon, and big guys said, okay, we will give you security guarantees, but it was just nothing. Nothing, because the war began, and through all the leaders who gave us, it was all nuclear power guys.
Yeah.
So most.
So why would it be different now?
First, because it's legally binding. Second, it depends on NATO weapon, NATO kind weapon.
Yeah.
So this is important, what Ukraine didn't have. So the mistake was with nuclear, only one. They had to give nuclear and get NATO.
Yeah.
Just NATO membership.
Yeah.
It means that it's open for you, financial support and technologies, intelligence, what we had after a full-scale war, but what we didn't have before.
Yes. Some European countries said that they are willing to send troops to Ukraine as part of some peacekeeping force, whatever you want to call it, after a peace deal that ends the war. But are those soldiers that are supposed to be a deterrent, a real force, or it's just symbolic to send a political message?
Political message is important, especially when we will have some format of ceasefire. And I'm not sure that we need, after ceasefire, just forces for, new kind or format of war, even defending war. Yes, I'm not sure that after ceasefire we will have war really between us.
Yes.
That's why Putin thinks not to have to give ceasefire and to postpone, because it's difficult to explain why after ceasefire you began exactly immediately again aggression. That's why he's thinking how to postpone. But in any case, I'm sure I hope that we will have some format of ceasefire. But really, after this war, this after us will be a lot of different leaders and generations and children and etc. I don't want to be the president who brought to Ukraine symbolic security guarantees.
Yes.
I'm not interested in it.
Mr. President, let's try and move now to some sort of like a lightning round, to just very quickly.
Now, to answer quickly.
I will ask quickly and you will answer quickly.
My English is not so quick. It's my Ukrainian. Okay, I will try.
What was the number one lesson you had from this meeting back in February in the Oval Office? What was the lesson, other than wearing a jacket?
I can't tell you.
But you will?
Yes. Not now.
Okay.
Okay, not now.
After
a little bit later.
After you finish, after you retire, Or after Trump retires?
No. After me, it doesn't matter. I mean, a little bit later, but I will tell you.
Because your meetings afterwards with Trump, your recent meetings with him were much better. And, I was wondering if you just realized that the way to make him happy is just to suck up to him.
No, I think the question is that I'm honest. I love my country, and I'm very clear in my messages. That's why White House was lesson not only for me, I think for other side also. We understood each other. And it's better than to be very polite just because you afraid the President of the United States. I'm not such person. I was very open. And I think that strong people respects the position. Even if this position is not very polite, even if this position is not, you don't like it, but you respect.
Yes.
If you're a strong man with a clear position.
Yes. And let's talk about another person on the other side, Vice President J.D. Vance. Is he your biggest enemy in this administration?
No, he is not my best friend, but he's not an enemy.
And
he can be a good friend of Ukraine.
How?
How has to come and to Ukraine.
Because I think you invited him several times.
I invited.
So why is he not coming?
I don't know. This question to him, maybe he will be on this place and answer on this question. But I think it's chemistry. You have to come to Ukraine, love Ukraine or not. It depends on your point of view, on your feelings, and etc. And I think that he has come to Ukraine and he will love Ukraine.
One of the things that were discussed as part of the diplomatic talks are some sort of territorial concessions. Are there any territorial concessions that you would agree in order for to get a deal that ends the war? Or is this something that you say never?
No, we will never recognize these territories, which are temporarily occupied, like the territories of Russia. We can't do it.
But the question wasn't if you were going to recognize. The question was if you're going to agree to say, well, this, the border was here, now it's here.
Between us,
what can I do?
Between us. So, if you will look at today's situation, if tomorrow will be a ceasefire, everybody's standing. If we don't have power to bring back these territories, so we are ready to speak about it. We are ready to get it back sometime in the future by diplomatic way, not with weapon. And I think this is good compromise for everybody. It's been that we have to decide such things now in dialogue and less losses.
Yeah. There haven't been elections in Ukraine for some time because of the war.
I'm sorry, we will speak about the election. So just about territories. I mean this. For example, take Melitopol, one city, yes, in the Zaporizhzhia region, yeah, which is on the sea, yes, and we know many people who live there now, and if Ukraine will recognize some temporary occupied territories as Russian, if you will betray all these people. So the question is not only in territories, as I always say, the territories without people, it's not the main goal. That's why you can't betray these people who live there. It's difficult circumstances. Sometimes you have old parents and you can't get them, you can't move them, and you can't lose them, and to push them be alone there. That's why you live with them. And a lot of such families, which these war attacked. So that's why you can't betray. You can't betray.
Yes.
That's it. This is very important moment. Now I'm ready for your next question.
No, because the question was, there were no elections in Ukraine for a long time because of the war. But don't you think that maybe it will be a good idea, because you're in front of historical decisions, whether it's escalating the war or taking decisions that are needed for peace? Don't you think it might be a good idea to go back to the people and get a mandate for those historical decisions?
Look, yesterday I said to the president, everybody understand, by the way, that elections now, according to the law, is unbelievable. And first of all, security situation is unbelievable for the election period. But I said to him yesterday, I think that if we will have ceasefire, I think we can use this period of time, and I can give this signal to the parliament, and parliament can think. Maybe even it will be difficult according to our constitution to go to the elections, but parliamentarians can try to find a way how to do elections. But we need ceasefire.
So do you commit that if tomorrow President Putin agrees for a ceasefire of 3 months, 6 months, whatever, you will push forward to go for elections in Ukraine?
Yes. Because during this period of time that Ukraine and Russia and the United States have to find a way how really finish this war. And I'm not against. If people want to see the leader which has to have mandate or new mandate, yes, if security situation, but during the ceasefire, I think security can give the possibility to have elections. It can be so.
And do you see yourself, after the war is over, staying as Ukraine's president also in peacetime? Or are you going to say, I served my country at its most difficult moment in history, and now I'm stepping down?
Really, I'm ready for second.
Yes.
So I'm ready for second variant.
You mean you're ready that
if we will finish war with Russians? Yes, I'm ready not to go, because it's not my goal. Elections. By the way, I've never had such idea. Elections. I wanted very much in a very difficult period of time. Be with my country, help my country. Yes, that's it, what I wanted always. So this is not my dream, just to have elections. I'm not ordinary politicians. I mean, if I use now right words, I don't want, to pressure some politicians. It's not about it. It's not about it. My goal is to finish the war.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are thousands of Ukrainian children that are in Russia.
Yeah.
If they or their families are watching you right now, what would you want to tell them?
First of all, I want them to be happy. And I want, of course, them to bring back to Ukraine. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that we didn't have enough power not to give the possibility for Russians to stolen them. But we will bring them back to their native country, to their relatives. It's so important. And of course, it depends on their will. Of course, because we are fighting for freedom and for rights for people. And that's why it's, in any case, it will be their choice.
Yes.
To come back or not. But mostly these children been stolen by Russians. And of course they want just, clear their,
brainwash them.
Brainwash them, yes. It's a bit. that we can't be near them now. It's a pity that, first of all, their relatives can't be there. So this is a big tragedy, tragedy. Because each it's not even about thousands, it's about each child.
Mr. President, you are today the most important Jewish leader in the world. And the Jewish people celebrating this week Rosh Hashanah, Novi Rik. What do you wish for yourself and for Ukraine for the new Jewish year?
Only peace. This is I have only one goal, and I'm happy, and I'm sure that all Ukrainians want this, and I wish everybody in the world just peace. And God bless, you will never know the price of peace. It means that you will never feel what people feel during the war. So I wish just peace.
And next week is the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, Yom Kippur, Sudnidin. It's a day of self-reflection, of atonement. What do you think, is there anything or anybody that you would wish to apologize on this day?
My mother, my father, because I'm deeply in my job. Sometimes I don't have time just to speak with them and just to hug, just to come and to be thankful for that they gave me everything what I have. That's brain education, and I think the family warmth, and I'm very apologizing. And my wife and my children, again, because I all my time is with my today's job. But I think that they understand that for each man, I think, in the world, the priority is his family. His family, it's his country. Because family is a part of your world, and your world is your country. Yes. And for me, because of this profession, the priority is Ukraine. And it's a pity that I have to recognize this is the priority, to finish this war. And only then, time for my family. I'm apologizing, but this is what am I.
Mr. President, I wanted to wish you Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
And thank you for being with us on the Axios show.
Thank you
very
much. Thank you very much.